Hi guys, this is Ruby with MRV Financial. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful month slate for our topic of the week. Today I brought some special guests. You've seen them before. I thought it was a perfect way to start our 2021 to bring you some more light into your house shopping process. We have our wonderful Denise Portillo-Krohn with the Loan Depot. She's going to talk to us about the lending practices currently in place and what you should be expecting in 2021. And same for our beautiful Tiffany Jimenez. She is our realtor with Realtor of Chicago. She will talk to us about the housing market and also what to expect. So welcome aboard, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us, Denise, how should people be preparing? How should people be looking at the outlook currently for our, loans in the market?
Well, it's been an interesting last year. We all know that, with COVID-19, things changed in the lending world. Lenders had to use a lot more lender discipline. And basically, lenders were very concerned that we were going to go into another housing crisis like, the 2008 and the aftermath of that. So we were trying really hard to just be conservative with the loans that, they were taking on. A lot of lenders added new guidelines and extra rules to qualify their customers. And a lot of small lenders were kind of, not wanting to take on that risk. So they really minimized the amount of people that they were allowing to get qualified. Thankfully, that's kind of opened up. Lenders have loosened their guidelines a little bit more. It's not quite business as usual, but it's more reasonable. So I would say, there's a lot of good things that are on the horizon for real estate this coming year. There is a lot of concern that, well, what's going to happen? There's many homeowners that have forbearances or mortgages in forbearance. For those who may not know what that means, basically, if you have a mortgage, they're giving you the opportunity not to make payments without going into default and without the risk of losing your home, and you could make arrangements with your lender. So, there's a lot of concerns in the mortgage industry, like what's going to happen when those mortgage forbearances go away, when they stop allowing them. Are we going to go into another recession? Are we going to go into another, is it going to create a bubble? And what analysts are saying is that it probably is not. And it looks like we kind of learned our lesson from before, thankfully. Things are looking like they've, improved. And while there are many people that are in forbearance, there are also many homeowners who are not. And those that are will have options to modify their loans and just be more flexible, working with their lenders to make sure that they can stay in their home. So we're hoping for minimal foreclosures in 2021. Of course, there will be some, but we don't believe that it'll be nearly to the extent that it was in our last housing crisis. So with that said, it's looking really good. Again, lenders are becoming a little bit more flexible. We've gone back to accepting some loans, at least with my lender, as low as with a credit score of 580. For a while, we were at 620, 640. So things have, loosened up a little bit, and that helps our first-time home buyers, especially. There's so many buyers out there that are people that want to be buyers, and they're very concerned about, what do I do? I don't know if I'll qualify now with COVID. And honestly, it's just a matter of having a conversation, having that, checklist that we'll go over and talking about, what is your situation with employment, even if you were laid off or out of work for a little while due to, the shutdowns, maybe you're still okay. We just have to have that conversation. What is your situation with the down payment? Maybe you don't have a whole lot saved because you used it, during COVID, but that's okay. There's down payment programs out there. So I think that, buyers should expect this year to be, there should be a lot of opportunities. I don't think you should feel like you can't do it just because of the current, environment that we're in. There are a lot of people buying real estate, especially in Chicagoland. Tiffany can definitely talk more to that.
Yes. We are seeing it is a seller's market right now. There is limited inventory and a lot of buyers due to the fact that the rates are so low, and they are the lowest they've been in a long time. So you see buyers who are renting, and they're looking at it like, what, I can actually, for the amount that I'm paying in rent, I can own a home. So why not take that jump? But we don't have as many sellers selling their home. So what that creates is it creates a seller's market, and you find yourself up against multiple offers, and they're always calling for highest and best. And what that means is, you have to go in strong with your highest offer. I come across, clients when talking to them, and they want to go in low because they are thinking of the last crash. They're thinking of what happened in the last time there was a housing recession, and they're thinking that the same thing is happening right now because of COVID, but it's the exact opposite. If you go in low, you're going to be outbeaten, and you're going to be outbeaten multiple times on your offer, and you're just going to find yourself submitting multiple offers on properties. The best strategy is always going strong with your max offer. If that is the home that you want to be in, and that is the home that you can see yourself in, then you got to go in strong so that you can outwin those bids. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on the housing end. It's just, we have a ton of buyers and not enough sellers. So if you're looking to sell your home, let me know. Let's get it on the market and sell it for top dollar. If you're a buyer and you're thinking, you know what, I've been renting for a while, and I shouldn't be renting, then contact me, and we'll have a conversation and get that process started so you can see what it looks like. It's different for everybody.
Yeah. And as far as the sellers, can you tell us about that? Just, from a seller's perspective, how can they be, doing their own selves a favor when it comes down to knowing when to sell?
Yeah. So, right now, it all depends on their circumstances. If you are, when are you looking to sell? What is your next phase of life? And how much lead time do we have to get your home sold and get you on to the next phase of life? Because some people have 30 days, some people have 6 months. So it's very important to have that conversation with the realtor and let them know up front, you know what, this is what my next phase of life looks like. This is my time frame, and this is what I'm looking to do. We take all proper precautions as well with COVID. So just making sure that, there's, Lysol, everyone has the proper PPE when they're coming in your home. Because I know a lot of sellers are worried about people coming in right now with COVID. So we do limit the showings, we do leave some time in between to kind of, make sure there's sanitizing processes in place, having the Lysol, making sure everybody has a mask. And, if the buyers want to wear gloves, then great. You can always supply those at the listing and ask the buyers to use those. So that's what we're seeing from a seller's perspective. It's just being open, having an open and honest conversation with your realtor so that they know the time preparation they need to get your home sold for you. But right now they're flying off the market. I've seen homes under contract in 1 day.
Wow.
Yeah. So if that's a possibility that can happen. So you also have to be prepared as a seller to be ready to go. So it's there, like I said, for buyers and sellers, each person is different. Each situation is different, and their next phase of life is different. So again, being open and honest, having those conversations, and having, clear, like deadlines for when we want the home sold, what we're going to do in the process.
And if I can just add to that, if you're going to also be selling, that means you probably want to buy. So you want to make sure that you are pre-approved before you list your house, because like Tiffany said, if your house flies, which is very likely to happen, you need to be able to go out and find something right away and make sure that you're pre-qualified and make sure that all of your ducks are in a row in order to buy as well. So you have to definitely consider both sides of that.
Yeah, definitely. Usually what I recommend to my sellers is that we list their property. And when we list a property, we work on getting pre-approved if buying is their next phase of life. And we get them pre-approved right away so they have it. We're actively searching, but we're not putting in any offers until we have a clear offer on the home that we're going to sell. And then right away, it's kind of like back to back, bam, bam, bam. Offer on the home that's being sold, offer on the home that you're going to buy, so that we can try to make it as smooth of a transition as possible, where you don't find yourself with a gap of like, oh my God, where am I going to live? My home sold and I can't move into my new home because I haven't closed yet for 3 weeks. I try not to have that the case. At the very best, I like it to be days, where you can kind of just go right in, move out and move in.
That's good information. So what do you have as far as demystifying any bad information that people have heard right now, either from a, purchasing standpoint or lending standpoint? What would you like to clarify for a lot of people that may be afraid to buy or sell because there's all this commotion going on and our information is, we're on a day-to-day, information expires on a daily basis. So what light can you give people as far as that?
I'll start here, Denise, if that's fine, and then I'll pass it along to you and then you can fill it in. What I'm seeing is, first, I see a lot of potential home buyers, people who want to just take that first step to buy a home. And what they do is they start searching on Zillow or Realtor.com, and then they're like, oh, I found this home and I want to buy it. No. You want to talk to a realtor first. Have a conversation. Try to have a conversation with your realtor and your loan officer at the same time. That's what me and Denise do. We try to set up Zoom buyer consultations. They're free to the buyer. We get on Zoom and we kind of help them work through everything. The first thing to do is to get pre-approved. That's the first step, because you don't want to be searching for a $1 million home when you only qualify for a $500,000 home. Because then you're walking into that $1 million home, you're falling in love, you're seeing yourself there. And then here comes Denise and she's like, well, you only qualify for a $500,000 home. I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, what do you mean? And then we kind of become like the bad guys because we're crushing dreams, and that's not what we want to do, because the home buying process can be stressful, and we try to make it as the stress as minimal as possible. So I would recommend the first thing is definitely reaching out to a realtor, having a conversation with them, letting them know your thoughts, and then getting on board with them to get your pre-approval, and then starting your process. Some of the other things I hear, I'm paying $1,500 in rent, but I don't have perfect credit. Or, I don't have a down payment. And there's so many things that I'll allow Denise to go into, whether it's, down payment assistance or credit score requirements, that, you don't have to have perfect credit. You don't have to have a huge, savings account to purchase a home. Those aren't requirements. And I'll pass it along to you, Denise, so you can kind of go into the, gist of it, but that's what I'm seeing.
Thank you.
Thank you. So definitely, we get a lot of people, we get both ends of the spectrum. Sometimes we see people who are like, I want to buy $1 million house. I don't have any money. I don't have, I don't really have any credit, but I really want to buy this house. And like Tiffany says, that's heartbreaking because, we do not like to crush those dreams. I want to help you achieve those dreams. And so, a lot of it is in the beginning, having those realistic expectations, like, okay, let's just sit down and have a conversation. So, I know where you stand, where the lender will stand, and then it's an open conversation. There's no surprises. So, with that said, it also doesn't mean that you have to have everything, perfectly in order either. It's nice if you have some savings. Yes, it's always going to be encouraged because you never know, as a homeowner, you're going to have expenses. But some people, reach out to us and say, I am paying $1,500 in rent. I cannot really save. If I don't get help, I'm never going to get out of this situation. What can you do to help me? And thankfully, there are down payment assistance programs that are out there to help you. Thankfully, in many cases, Tiffany can negotiate for the seller to help you with closing costs. Sometimes we can help on the lender side with lender credits as well. So if we work together, we can creatively help you to structure your transaction the way that it should be so that you can walk in. I mean, sometimes some people walk in with a minimum of 1% at closing. So, everything has to line up. It doesn't always happen in this market because things are so aggressive. You need to have a willing seller that's willing to help you. But again, let me and Tiffany worry about that. Just, you would come to us and have that conversation so that we could figure out, okay, what are our challenges and what do we need to do to overcome that? Like I said before too, with credit's something that, back in the 90s, 80s, people needed a 720, 740 credit score. That's not the case anymore. Like I said before, you can get a loan with as low as 580 of a credit score. The better of a score you have, though, the better it will be for you in the long run. So, you want to work with MRV Financial and, credit repair to work on getting your score higher. But don't let that be the thing that holds you back. You can always continue to work on your credit even after you have a mortgage, have a long-term plan in place. If you have to get a home with a lower credit score and it means that you have a higher rate, you could always refinance down the line after you get your credit. But the time to buy is always going to be now, because prices are only going to go up, interest rates are only going to go up, inflation, everything, there's something called the cost of waiting that's very real. The longer you wait, the more expensive things will be in the long run. So you don't want those things to hinder you and hold you back. I did want to mention as well, there's a lot of millennials and even, our generation that have student loans and that are kind of thinking, oh, I have such a large student loan payment. I can't possibly imagine myself buying a home and having a mortgage as well. Well, I want to do a little plug. Tiffany and I are hosting a Zoom tomorrow with the Illinois Housing Department. That is, they sponsor a state grant, and they have a great program where up to $40,000 in student loans you could potentially get paid off in addition to down payment assistance. So, if we can include information on, Ruby with this video, that would be great. But yeah, there's options out there. There's help out there. You just need to know who to talk to. You need to know that you have options, and we're the team that's going to help you figure out what those options are.
Thank you for bringing up that student loan. I know it's pretty new, so it would be good for people to look into everything, to make sure that it is something that is for them. Definitely, I'll definitely share your meeting tomorrow so people could follow up with it. And then as far as, from a savings perspective, a lot of people right now, MRV Financial, this is our season where we get a lot of folks saving their refund to get into a home. So if you are in a position where your credit is, where it needs to be, and you're just waiting for that down payment, the earlier that you file your taxes, the better for you to get your refund. There's a lot of stuff going on with the IRS right now. So you want to be the first one in line on filing your taxes so that this doesn't prevent you from getting into your dream home. So please do contact us for that if that is something that you need help with. And then I will definitely transfer you to these ladies so that they can help you with the, lending process and all of that. But right now with the winter rates, like Denise said, they are going to be going up. So like she did say, the time is now. It's one of those things that like she said, exactly, there's a cost for you to wait. So you have to be very real about what that cost looks like to you. That's the only thing that I wanted to add as far as that. If you're thinking that the IRS is going to give you your refund within, 7 days like they did in the past, I do, based on just information that we're getting, I do want to prep you for that may not be the case. It may take 14 days. So very important that you do get to that right away. Anything else that you guys want to add before I let you guys go? Anything that I didn't ask that you think is important for people to know?
I would say the biggest thing that I come across when speaking, to potential home buyers or renters right now is fear. They're afraid of taking that step because, their uncle or their cousin told them this and it used to be like that. And, back in the 90s, it was like this. Things change on a daily basis. And everybody's situation is different. I can't stress that enough. My situation is going to be different from my sister, from my cousin. Everybody's path is different. Everybody's path to home ownership is different. But the first step is having that conversation, is be willing to say, you know what, I'm going to open up and have a conversation and see what my options are. We've had clients call us and say, I'm not ready for a year. And we have them fill out an application because in their mind, they already have a way of thinking how the home buying process looks. They're already, kind of have that in their mind. They fill out an application. We have them pre-approved in 24 hours and we've been under contract within like 72 hours. Wow. And they've been in their home by what, 45 days from the date of pre-approval. So it can happen, and you never know until you actually open up, take that first step, have that conversation, and apply. Even if it's not now, Denise is great with setting you up and putting you on a plan of what this is the steps you have to take to get there, you know. But if you don't try, you'll never know. And I can't stress that enough. You know, let fear go and step out on a leap of faith and at least have a conversation.
Yep. Anything else, Denise?
No, I love that. Definitely. I think 2020 taught us that we're pretty resilient, that we can overcome many, many things. And so 2021, let it be the year that you do open up and take that leap of faith and accomplish those goals that you have for yourself. And if you just don't know how to do it, you know, reach out to us. We want to help you. So definitely, you know, just keep your eye on the prize and reach out. Let's have that conversation.
Thank you. Well, that brings us to the end of today's topic. Thank you so much for checking in with us today. I do want to remind everybody that we do have a raffle going on just for signing up to our YouTube channel so that you can get this kind of information on a weekly basis. Our first draw will be the end of January, so good luck to everybody. It is a secret raffle, so you will get to find out once you spin the wheel that day what your prize will be. So thank you again. We wish you a very great week and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.